Hello and welcome back to the Pocket Network Podcast, a podcast for real estate professionals like you to innovate your world. I'm your host, Margarita Petrosian, and each week I sit down with industry professionals to talk about hot topics, common challenges, and so much more. This week I'm here with Tereza. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Before we start, I do have to hype you up. You are number 24 in all of California. So impressive. Not just that, but you just recently did your first masterclass, sold out. What was it, 125 seats?
That's right.
That is amazing. Congratulations. Huge achievements. And all of that while you are a single mother. That is the most impressive thing on my list. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you sleep. I don't know how you eat.
Well, it's definitely difficult to have work-life balance. I don't know what that is. And, but it's so worth it. I mean, seeing the people's reaction, especially with the masterclass, the idea came to me when everyone was approaching me and saying, will you teach us your ways? How did you become Tereza? How did you get to this level? And I was getting tons of questions, and it was so difficult to answer everyone because everyone has different questions. And I thought, okay, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put together a program where I get to share my journey with my audience. And I get to also give them tips and tricks and guide them in the right direction. I didn't have this when I started real estate. So being privileged enough to have the opportunity to share that with others and people expressing so much interest, I was like, oh my God, I have to do this. And we started with 50 seats. And I said the goal was to get to 50. And it's funny because the first 2 weeks, there was only 12 people that signed up. So I was thinking, oh my God, I'm just going to say I have COVID and cancel the whole thing. Nobody's going to know. And then, shortly after, we immediately sold out and we hit 50. So I called my event organizer and I'm like, can we double the space? Yeah. Can we change the space? Can we double it? He's like, yeah, no problem. So we did 100 and we sold out again another week later. This all happened within a month.
Wow.
And then everyone was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry I'm last minute. I'm sorry I missed my chance. So I squeezed in 25 additional procrastinators is what I call them.
So you could have done bigger.
I could have done bigger. It's just we had such a short amount of time to plan for it. But I kept increasing my space. And then we changed from one venue to another because we went from 50 to 100 to 125. But the best part was really hearing their feedback at the end. It was just a moment for me to just appreciate everything I've done because it's brought me to this point, right? To be able to share my journey with others.
Yeah, it really shows that all your hard work has paid off because not only are people noticing, but they're able to learn from you.
Absolutely.
And you've only been doing real estate for how many years?
Since 2018.
Oh, so only 4 years.
Four years. 4 years full time. I got my license in 2017 end of year. And I was a part-time realtor for about a year and a half. I didn't feel confident enough to, because I have a daughter to take care of. I had my family. I had my expenses. I wanted to make sure that I built a strong enough book of business where I could take that step and quit and start real estate full time.
And what were you doing while you were, when you first started off part-time?
I was a full-time manager at Apple. You know, that small store at the American.
That very tiny place. Yeah.
Nobody knows it yet.
I just heard of it from you. Yeah.
It was a dream come true for me to get that job because it was quite a challenge. But I was having fun.
Yeah, working in tech, I bet that helped you really transfer some of that knowledge into your business practices, automating real estate.
Absolutely. So, I think what I learned from Apple mainly is marketing techniques. How do you stand out from the competition? To me, Apple has no competition. I'm a big fan. And they don't really have to do a lot of advertisement, if you notice. But everything's so thought out. Just even the aesthetic of the store.
Yes.
If you pay attention, you'll see all the phones are laid out at the same angle. All the computers are laid out visually. It's so beautiful, and every little detail is thought out. So marketing techniques, I really took that from Apple. And then I used to be a manager at Wells Fargo, and I took the financial aspect and how to deal with clients with their financial matters because buying a home is such a big decision. So I took that experience, I combined it with Apple's marketing techniques, and then I created this version of me in real estate, and I've been dominating in the industry.
You really have. And it's interesting that first of all, you said you were at Wells Fargo. So finance and then tech.
Yes.
If you are able to really truly understand the finance and the technology behind your business practice, I think that really has shown how much you've been able to really differentiate yourself from the competition.
Absolutely.
So is there anything that you've automated in your business practice that, let's say, your assistant can't do?
The problem with my business practice, so when I first started, I didn't have any clients. So I didn't have the need to create a system and track these clients because I had one client. So it was very easy to remember. And then I had 2 clients, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5. In real estate, we call it CRM, client
relationship management.
Yes, please cut that part. I know the word. So in real estate, we call it CRM, client relationship management tools that help you track your clients and note their emails, note their phone numbers, their birthdays, something about the client to remember. And you send them either automatic emails, you can send them automatic text messages, phone calls. Mine was really more personal relationships. I wasn't tracking how many clients do I have, where do I keep them in my database. I was creating relationships with people. I was creating friends. I was making them a part of my family. So there was no system for me to say, oh my God, I have to follow up with this person, or I have to press this button and send out. So I've never done that. So when I share this with people in the industry who've been doing it for so long and who are really successful, it doesn't make sense to them. How could you achieve this level of success without having any of that automated systems in place to manage your business? Make sense?
Well, it also does make sense because one thing that I think anyone watching or has seen your work on social media can agree on is your personality differentiates you.
Yes.
So we can feel how positive, how excited you always are. There's never a dull moment, it seems like.
Not at all.
So I think in your practice that shows. So not too many people can replicate that because that's not who they are as a person.
That's right.
So I think that's definitely one of the big differences. Other than that, I think in the beginning, if I remember correctly, you said that that you purposely, you said you made that version of yourself, that you added these into your business practices.
Yes, absolutely.
So a lot of it is done purposely. It's not just how you...
No, I don't just wing it. I mean, it's a business strategy. I need to make sure I know what my clients want and I have to meet their demands. I mean, if you observe my interactions from the side, I'm different with every single client. I match their energy. I match their body language. I match their tone. I change the way I speak, even the dialects. I've got my Parskahai clients and I switch the dialect for them. I've got my Russian speaking clients and I switch the dialect for them. So and I've got Spanish speaking clients, I switch for them. So it's so important for me to create an experience, a unique experience for each client of mine. And that's really helped
to make them comfortable.
Absolutely. Yeah. They have to have fun. They have to enjoy the process. They say buying real estate is so difficult. It's so stressful. My clients don't feel that. I eliminate all the stress, all the difficulties. I take it upon myself. So my life becomes more difficult. But to them, they don't even realize when they opened escrow, when they found the home, when they closed escrow, when they moved in. I do it so quickly. And it's such a seamless process that I've perfected that my clients love me for it.
Yeah. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you've perfected it not just because you've done it so many times, but also because you've made the right connections and you have the people in your network to make it go so much more easily than someone else might think the process would be.
Absolutely. You mentioned network. It's huge. It's a key factor to my success because I am their one-stop shop. They call me for anything house related, non-house related. They need a cleaner, they need a mover, they need a gardener, they need a handyman, they need a painter, they need a great loan officer. I'm there. I'm their go-to. They don't call these other people. They call me because they know I've hand-selected these individuals. They're a part of my team, right? And I give them this golden pieces of information, like here's the best lender you can interact with, here's the best title officer you can have, here's the best escrow officer you can use, and so on and so forth. So it took me years of trial and error, finding these golden individuals kind of like me, right? And creating my team where I feel confident enough to refer them to my clients. And they love that.
Yeah. And speaking of your team, so you now have just rented your own office space and you have your team of realtors in that same space. So how many people are a part of your team now?
So I have 13 people on my team.
13 people in 4 years.
In 4 years. I used to have an office. It was much, much smaller and nothing compared to this. This is my 3rd office now. And it's truly sort of like, it shows my hard work. It shows what I've worked so hard for.
It's a beautiful space.
It's so beautiful. And thanks to my designer, there's no way I could have done any of that. Designed by Arman really, really helped me out there. But to see my progress. And I think that's what my people, my audience, my followers, my clients love, because they know me from day one and they know where I come from, and they've seen the growth and they've seen how much hard work has gone into it.
Yeah.
They've seen me be.
And I love that. I love that you've shown the hard work. It's not just boom, I'm successful, watch me thrive.
They've seen the crappiest office. They've seen me work from Starbucks. They've seen my late nights. They've seen me be the last person to leave that parking lot. And now they see this, and no one can question how did I get there, because they were there along with me on that journey.
And most importantly, I think your daughter has also seen all this.
Yes.
So that, I think, does a lot in developing a child's not only work ethic, but their own character. I can speak from personal experience, just watching how much my mom has not only sacrificed, but how she worked day in and all night long. And I think a lot of the time when I felt stuck, I would just say, oh my goodness, I've watched her go through so much more. I can push past. Yeah.
Done. I love it. That's, I've taught my daughter in this process. She's learned certain keywords that she has no choice but to be those things. She knows I'm a top realtor, so she uses the word top in anything she does. She knows I use the word the best, and she uses it in everything she does. She'll come to home from school and she'll be like, I was the best grade in the entire class, because she knows how important that is to me. So she has no choice but to be great. I've given her no other options.
That's the only thing that she's seen modeled.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I love it. And with saying top realtor, that definitely is a part of your brand. I literally, when I speak about you to other people, I'll say Tereza. When they say which one, top realtor. That's what I say.
That's right.
So is that something you've done purposely to have people think of you when they hear top realtor?
To be honest, in the beginning, my go-to line was your favorite realtor. Every time I would showcase a house, I would say your favorite realtor, because I really was. That was my client's feedback. And oftentimes you will see on my social media, I post a lot of my conversations with my clients where they can hear the reactions, the initial reaction when they open escrow, or their compliments of my service. And the most common words would be top realtor, you're the best, my favorite realtor. So I've been using these words that my clients have gifted me with, right? Yeah. And I went from your favorite realtor to top realtor because I earned the title. I mean, there was no question about it. Last year, my company, Coldwell Banker, Hallmark Realty, recognized me as the best agent of the company.
That's amazing.
When you get that title, thank you. You better talk about it, right? So I changed from your favorite realtor to top realtor because I felt like it was time.
Yeah. And do you think that did anything for your business? Did you see that change of branding affect your transactions?
I'll be honest with you. I think, my interactions with my clients is the key factor in my business. I could call myself something else tomorrow, and I don't think that's going to have an impact on my clients because they know who I am.
Yeah.
And they know that it's the same Tereza that they've known from 4 years ago, 5 years ago when this journey started. And it's the same Tereza today, except she's more aggressive. She's more knowledgeable. She's got more experience. She's got the statistics to back up why she's a top realtor. So to be honest with you, my branding could change tomorrow. I may change my mind. I may come up with a new name after hearing what my clients have to say about me. But I think my clients will still stick around because I'm so loyal to them. I'm fully committed to them, and I get that same loyalty in return. So
yeah, I do agree with you because you have become your own brand. Now it's very personal.
Absolutely.
So it's not just a business where you have to think about every word you put out there.
Absolutely.
You just have to be authentic with who you are. And I agree that your clients will follow you no matter where you go.
And times change, as you have to stay up with the current trends. You have to make sure, if TikTok is popular, you have to be on TikTok, right? If Reels are popular, you have to be putting out Reels. So if this song is popular, you have to be using that song. So times are always changing. So if you're stuck in the old days and you're stuck with that, your favorite realtor, I've been saying that for 2 years, but then things are changing. So my goal is staying aware of what's trending, what's happening in the current day, in the current market, and being knowledgeable enough to be flexible enough to change with the times.
So just going further into that, do you think, even though your favorite realtor was working, do you think that even if something's working, even if you constantly do great, that you need to refresh the brand and what you put out there?
100%. Even if you go and scroll on my Instagram page, you will see a completely different version of me back then versus the version that you're seeing now. I mean, I have hired a marketing team who helps me with content and posts on my behalf, and you can see a significant difference.
Yeah.
But in the beginning of my career, I couldn't afford any of those perks that I get to enjoy now. I couldn't afford an assistant that I get to have now. And you absolutely have to change, because if you don't, your business will diminish for sure. So
someone else will do something new to catch their attention.
100%.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. I think marketing is everything. And for someone like you, who you are the business, I think that the boundary is endless now, because I recognize that whether it's in real estate or just other YouTube characteristics that people are a fan of, the reason, or even let's get dramatic, the Kardashians. Why have people continued watching? How many seasons is it now? Like 853? Why are people watching? It's because they change. They throw in a baby, a wedding, a divorce, and then someone, I don't know, changes.
And then another.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So I think it's very important. What they've been doing has been working. So just modeling, if you look at these bigger businesses, these bigger personalities, if you model exactly what they've done, but still staying true to yourself, obviously.
Absolutely.
Don't just go and get married to get people to keep watching.
That's right. That's right. No, you got to have your signature. You know, you mentioned earlier that my past experiences have molded me into the person that I am today. So no matter what I teach my audience, they're not going to be the same. They're not going to be Teresa, because their past experiences have made them who they are. But that uniqueness is what really helps you stand out in the industry. Being different, having your signature. As much as I want to stay up to date with what's happening currently on the market, there's always my signature on top of that. You know, everyone can tell, okay, that's Teresa.
Yes. So just thinking of the other side of it. So we talked about how you're very purposeful about what you put out there and the version of yourself that people see. So do you think that you've had to change who you are to grow within your career?
I don't think I purposely changed myself. I think if you are an intellectual person, you have to grow and change as time goes by, right? Yeah. As I look back who I was before, I'm very proud of the person that I am today, but I'm so different from who I was before, you know? But I didn't do it on purpose to fit in and be liked. I did take feedback. I take feedback very seriously, whether it's from my supporters, whether it's from my family, from my clients, etc. And I made sure that I tweak certain things to make sure that everyone's happy, right? You know, even today I said, let's talk about anything you'd like except for the following topics, because you want to make sure you keep a neutral audience and you don't anger one side or the other, you know, and stay away from those controversial topics. But before, I wasn't as cautious. You know, before whatever came to my mind, I would put it out there. Or I remember I would post something and I was really in a bad mood. I was frustrated that this realtor, and I was like, you could hear, like I was ready to cry and I was posting and I'm thinking now, I would never do that. You know, that's the inside stuff that nobody needs to really see because it didn't show me in the best light. You know, when you're angry, you may say certain things and you
might not really mean it. It's just a frustrating day.
You need to give it 24 hours to process, calm down, and then get out to the real world. Yeah. So I think it's absolutely necessary to change. If you're not growing, if you're not changing, there's a problem.
I agree 100%. Yeah. I think if you're not growing, in my opinion, when I notice that I'm kind of feeling stuck, it's because I'm either unhappy or I'm not doing anything that's inspiring me.
And motivates you to do more. Yeah. Change the environment immediately.
I agree 100%.
You know, it's the same thing. You can't be the smartest person in a room. You're in the wrong room if you're the smartest person. That's what I strive to always do. I surround myself with people that are better than me, that are stronger than me, people that I can learn from, people that inspire me to do more and better.
And clearly it's been working, because I think in 2021, do you know the number off the top of your head, how many transactions you've closed?
100.
Over 100.
Over 100.
That is so impressive.
It's insane.
One human.
And when I don't even know how it got to that number, because I wasn't chasing the number of transactions. I was chasing making my clients happy. Every interaction was so precious for me. I lost track of numbers. So it's so beautiful that people tell me, oh, by the way, did you know you did this many? I'm like, oh my God, did I really? Yeah. The 24th agent in all of California, a fellow realtor, looked me up and said, impressive. I'm so proud of you. And I said, wait, when did I get here?
I love it.
You know, so because I was busy helping a client, and that's my goal. I got into this industry to help people. And when you're focused on that and nothing else, the rest is noise and distractions, then you'll get far.
I completely agree. And with the transactions, so 100 transactions, that's like what, every 3 days you close the deal.
That's a lot.
So do you have a transaction coordinator, assistant just for that?
I wouldn't survive without that. I have the best transaction coordinator. It's part of my Coldwell Banker team, and she's super organized with paperwork. But of course, it's paperwork that I have to understand because I'm the face, right? I have to explain that to my clients. If it's disclosures, I need to make sure I review it before they sign. So although she's there to do like the boring stuff, it's boring for me to set it up for signatures, to put all the files together. But the important stuff, I'm still the face.
Of course.
I'm the one explaining to clients so they understand what they're signing. Every document they sign, an initial, could be life-changing. You know, one little box.
And it's a reflection of your business.
Absolutely, yes.
And with so many transactions, I wondered, do you ever get really picky and with a client, a specific client that approaches you, would you ever turn someone down?
It's happened.
Okay.
I think I'm at a point in my life where I get to sort of pick who I want to work with, because it's also, I need to enjoy the people I work with.
So how can you tell just from meeting someone initially?
I think it's the energy. Energy is so important for me. It takes a few seconds to make a first impression. It really does. And the type of questions they ask and the way they talk to you, it's so clear who's the person in front of you. I know that sounds a bit judgmental, but when you have so much experience dealing with people and interacting with them, within a few seconds, you can make your first impression. And after the first impression, either they're going to prove you wrong or they're going to prove you right, right? So it's happened with a client. It's actually pretty recent, where I got the listing, and just as I signed the listing, I could tell this is not going to be a fun transaction. And as much as real estate is supposed to be stressful and difficult and serious, I have fun doing what I do. I love my job, right? So I knew that this is going to be a troubled customer. And, it's the listing's coming to an end. They didn't trust me with pricing. They didn't trust me with marketing. So I sort of like followed their instructions, which usually my clients trust me. They say, you're the expert. Whatever you say goes. And I said, okay, no problem. I'll follow your instructions. I don't think it's going to work. It didn't work. The listing's about to expire. And, there's two ways I could go about it. I could convince them to extend it, but I felt, you know what? I'm good. Yeah. It's okay to let this one go.
And do you think that, that being able to turn down a client comes with the luxury of being very successful, or were you like that from the beginning?
I think it comes with the luxury of being very successful. I remember in the beginning, I went door knocking in a building, and one of the neighbors was cursing at me and yelling and saying, "You're not supposed to be here. You take your flyers and get out of here." And imagine, for a new realtor, this is not the best experience. That's scary. But I said, not a problem. I don't give up so easily. I'm going to come back when he's in a better mood. And I continued to door knock that same complex, because that's the complex where a fellow realtor had sold a unit. So I was using that information. But back then, it was really just, doesn't matter. No matter what, I'm going to get through to them. But now, it's so important for me to be in the right mindset, because I have so many other clients to help and so many team members that are relying on me. Yeah. So if I know that this interaction isn't going to go well and we're not going to work well together, then it's okay to let them go.
Why waste your time?
Exactly.
And I think, so with that, if you accept someone where you're not feeling like you're on the same level with them, correct me if I'm wrong, but the transaction won't go as smoothly and it won't be as seamless of an experience.
Absolutely.
So what are they going to tell their friends? Exactly. How does that reflect on your referral?
Exactly. And it's interesting because it may not even be my fault as a realtor had they trusted my expertise and my recommendations up front. But now that this transaction is going sideways, of course, the first thing they do is say, "Oh, well, she couldn't do it."
Oh my goodness. You never take responsibility for your own flaws.
No. Yeah. But you can't please them all. I've also learned that in my career.
Of course.
As much as I want to make everyone happy and everyone love me, you can't do that.
And you don't want to do that.
No, you don't want to do that.
There's just some people I'd rather you don't like me, because that shows that I'm on a higher level than you.
And not just higher. I think it's okay not to be liked by everyone, because we're all different, right? We come from different backgrounds. We have different expectations. What's the best part is the ones that do like you and appreciate you, they make up for those negative experiences. Yeah. They really do. you because I am so blessed. I'm not just saying this. My clients show me so much gratitude for what I've done for them, for me being able to make their dream home a reality, for me being able to sell the home that no one else could sell. That gratitude goes such a long way for me. That's my fuel that keeps me going. So you can hit me with 10 more difficult clients after. I'm still good. I'm strong. I'm standing on my 2 feet. I have the biggest smile on my face because that gratitude from the previous interaction that was really well is going to carry me.
And I think that just goes on to show exactly how secure you are and how sure you are of your personal branding.
Absolutely.
And how it's working for you and how you want to be seen by these clients.
Absolutely. You know, in years when you get so many compliments and so much positive feedback, that's the validation. I mean, what better compliment to ask for when my clients keep referring their friends and family to me? That's what I need to look after is if I'm getting those referrals, that means I'm doing something right, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And with those clients that you really don't want to work with right now, is there, do you refer them to people on your team that might need the business, or how does that work? Or just completely no?
Well, it depends. It's case by case. To be honest, it's such a small crowd that I've ever said no to because my personality is such where I'm very flexible. And again, I try to find common ground with any client in front of me. But I have referred clients to my team members in the past for various reasons. You know, there was a client that wanted a male realtor. He was very specific about it.
Was there a reason?
I didn't ask more questions. He said, I want the showings to be done by a male realtor. I said, not a problem. So I handed it off to one of my male team members and I said, good luck, you know, and it was a female client. So,
maybe she just wanted a view.
Possible. But you know, I've done that in the past. And other times if I see they're a problem client, I wouldn't pass that on to a team member because I wouldn't want them.
So although I do see why you wouldn't pass them on, do you think that would build character and have them build their own personal brand to be more secure, who they want to work with, how they want to be seen?
To be honest, not with those type of clients. I mean, it must be really, really bad for Tereza to say no to them. And I don't want them to go down that route. I don't want them to have an unpleasant experience. My goal isn't just to make it a seamless experience for my clients, but also for my team. I want them to feel that I have their back and real estate is fun and it can be smooth and it can be easy. And I want them to enjoy what they do. Make sense? So
for sure.
I don't think that's the way.
That's the kind of boss we all want.
Yes.
Especially now with the way we see that it's becoming a market for the worker and no longer the employer.
That's right.
So people are noticing what their bosses are doing. They're very sensitive to their work environments.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So at work, let's see, how do I phrase this question? With these 13 realtors on your team, so what does a typical work day look like when you're all in the office?
So we do meetings once a month where I invite someone that's going to teach them something new, whether it's someone from the title office, whether it's a lender to talk about the latest programs, whether it's an insurance agent we had last time, or whether it's just talking about our business. Where do we stand? What are we working on? What can I help them with? Do they have any prospective buyers they're working on? Do they need someone I can help close, etc.? So monthly meetings are a must. Otherwise, one thing you need to know in real estate, everyone's kind of their own boss, right? I say this often is you decide how successful you want to be. You decide how much business you want to take on. You decide how far you're going to go in this industry. So everyone's an independent contractor. Everyone's licensed. Everyone's sort of their own boss. I'm there to mentor them. I'm there to guide them when they need handholding. I'm there to, some of them help me with buyers because I can't be in so many places at once. So they help me with showings. Some of them help me with rentals. They help me with tenant showings, etc. So, but also having me as a guide I'm a phone call away, Do
you have scheduled one-on-one meetings with them?
If they request it, absolutely. But I think me being available to them 24/7, because I do work 24/7, I think
I've seen the text at 1 a.m.
That's right. And I'm proud of it. I'm good. It's funny because my marketing team was editing my Yelp page and they're like, well, hours, it says 9 to 5. I said, what do you mean it says 9 to 5? I need you to delete that. Nobody can think my hours end at 5 o'clock. It needs to be open. Okay.
I love it.
Open. I'm here. I'm available. I'm yours.
That's funny. Okay. Let's go deeper into that because how the heck do you stay so happy? How do you you stay awake.
I know. It has to go back to my passion for what I do. But this is who I've been my whole life. I've been a perfectionist growing up. I was a straight A student. I was the first one in class, the last one out. I was there to help the teachers. So that's just who I've been as a person.
Yeah.
So now that I'm excelling in this industry, and to be honest, even in my previous work experiences, if I took on something, I had to be the best.
Yeah.
My name had to be on those charts. I'm extremely competitive, but mainly I compete with myself. I'm like, okay, what did I do last month? How can I do better this month? And that's just my character. That's who I am.
Do you ever take vacations, like self-care days?
Oh my God, let's talk about self-care. So
goodness.
I don't know how. So my mom and my sister, they convinced me. They're like, you need a spa day. You need a massage. I hate it. I do it, but I absolutely hate it because you have to stay quiet and still for at least 1 hour. And that means no device. And that means turning off your brain. And I don't want to turn it off. I want it on at all times. So I hate it. I do it because I have to, but I don't do it with joy. Is
there anything like a hobby, maybe an active hobby that you could do that you do?
I mean, I used to work out like crazy, and then my construction started and I took a break there. But that was my hour of joy because I dedicated that hour to myself, no calls, no interruptions. And, I felt like I could conquer the world after that workout. But I love to travel, but there's no way that I'm traveling without my computer. There's no way that I'm traveling without my phone. Yes,
anywhere.
I took my daughter to the Bahamas, and it's funny because we're on this boat in the middle of nowhere, and I'm trying to get Wi-Fi. So I'm paying for like the highest gigabyte Wi-Fi so I can have fast internet. And then I'm complaining to the hotel staff that why isn't it working fast enough? And he's like, you do understand.
You're on vacation?
Yeah. Well, you're in the middle of nowhere, so you can't really expect fast internet. And I'm trying to open escrow while my daughter's asleep.
That's so funny.
I take my computer with me, and I sort of expect that from my team as well.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is exactly who I would want working on my house. I completely get it. But at the same time, woo.
Yeah, for me, I know.
Do you drink coffee?
I do drink coffee, but I'm like this with or without coffee. Yeah. I've had no coffee today.
Wow.
So this is my energy, end of day. You can imagine what I look like in the morning. But I do it with love. Like, I'm not forced to do it. If I was forced to, it would have been a different example.
If you were forced to, I don't think you would ever make it this far, especially in 4 years.
Absolutely not. I do it with so much love and joy.
Yeah. And I think that's also reflected. I saw when you did your masterclass, a bunch of people were posting it. And I just saw just the energy that the people had when they were there, just the way they posted about you as well. It really shows how they feel about you, because social media can a lot of times be fake. And it didn't come across that way. And then when I posted about having you on the podcast, a few of my friends who knew you personally, they messaged me, and it was all positive, and it was all, oh, you're going to love her. She's so nice. So people are definitely receiving what you're giving them, and it's working out.
But I'm putting so much energy into it too. So I think when you put so much love, passion, and energy into it, it has to turn out good, But you mentioned that feedback. It means so much. One of my clients was invited to the masterclass, and she's like, Teresa, I was in the valet parking as they were waiting for their cars. And she's like, you should have heard the things they were saying about you. And it was so positive.
I love it.
Feedback. And I said, did you really? She's like, yeah. She's like, I didn't want to leave.
So when's your next class?
I know. And that's like the most commonly asked question. So my house is currently under construction, which I've been taking my Instagram on that journey with me. And it's taking a toll on me. It's very time consuming and it's very difficult. So if I'm going to do another masterclass, I have to give it my all. And in order for me to give it my all, it has to have my undivided attention. I have to make sure the content is different from the first one. I have to make sure the audience gets exactly what they're looking to get. So hopefully end of this year, to be announced once I have an official date in place. But it's definitely come up a lot since I did the first masterclass, and I don't want to disappoint my people.
Oh, I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening, Miss Top Realtor, at all.
Let that happen.
So other than these masterclasses, is there anything else that you see in your future where transitioning your career to coaching?
I'd love that. Oh my God, it would be a different dream come true. It's funny because I've been invited to these different speaking events. And I thrive in that. Because growing up, I've always wanted to be a teacher. It was my dream. I had so much love and respect for my teachers, and I wanted to be them. So having the opportunity to be in a teaching role, to be able to inspire others, to motivate, but also to back it up with proof.
Yes.
I think that's my biggest concern when I hear other speakers, or, I would learn from other brokers. I've gone through different brokerages. they didn't have any proof that they were good at what they did, or they didn't have any statistics. They didn't have enough sold homes to be teaching me what to do. So in theory, everything they said sounded great, but did they really put it into practice? Because why don't I see it in their results? So I think being able to provide the proof and be like, here's how I sold 100 plus homes. Here's how I've sold 500 homes in my career. Here's how I've come to this point in my career in such a short amount of time. And then be able to teach that to others. That's a huge moment for me. So I'd love that. Absolutely.
I see you doing it, and I hope you do it soon, because we want to see more of Tereza and you telling us about your experiences, because we've had a lot of teachers. I think anyone that's ever went to any sort of college course can say that we've had these professors who, oh my goodness, they seem like they hate their life. They seem like they hate the topic. They seem like they're about to fall asleep while speaking. So if you're giving me that energy, even if I love the topic, there's no way I'm enjoying the class. There's no way I'm going to enjoy that subject. That's why a lot of people, they hate, let's say, math. You didn't even give it a chance. Your teacher just didn't know how to teach it.
That's it.
They used to say those who can't teach. I do not see that anymore. A lot of these universities, especially in business programs, when you look, all of these professors are doing it part-time, because full-time they are leading huge corporations. Or if it's a doctor, someone teaching a medical course, they are doing research on the side. They're saving lives on the side.
Isn't that amazing to have that as your mentor, to have that as the person to teach you?
And I'm seeing the same thing happen in real estate. It's people that have had the proof. And once you have the proof, you don't have to choose the coaching path. It chooses you. People have come to you with just, today I saw you posted, ask me anything so I can answer them during the podcast. And you sent me a bunch of these questions.
That's right.
People are interested. They're hungry to learn from you, because would they rather learn from you or this random agent who's been in the industry for 20 years, has written 15 books?
That's right. I know. I think it goes back to what I had in my career as I was aspiring to become a top realtor. I didn't have that. I didn't have those mentors, and the mentors that I did have didn't have the statistics to back it up. So it always made me question, does this really work? And how would they know? Who are they to teach me? So how
did you find these mentors? Do you mind if I ask?
I mean, you can find mentors anywhere. I mean, I'm going to learn something from you today, so it's all about being the sponge and asking the right questions to people around you. People are so scared to ask questions. They're like, oh, he's not going to want to help. He's too busy, or she's too busy. She's not going to answer. But have you tried? You reached out, you asked, would you like to be a guest? Had you not tried,
I almost did not try, because I was like, she's too busy. She's a top realtor. And then one of my producers was like, can you just text her? I don't care.
And you did. And I said, oh my God, I love that, because I've seen some of your posts, and I know Artin Falahi, a lender that I work with, he was on your podcast. I'm like, this is so cool. Of course, I'd love to be a part of it. People are so scared of asking because they're scared of rejection. So mentors are everywhere. You just have to ask the right questions with the right people.
And also timing is everything. I think that's what was holding me back, because I was thinking, okay, I'm not going to ask her if we haven't posted any results at all. But then everyone kept telling me that, oh my goodness, you're not selling a house. Don't overthink it. It's a podcast. Your timing is perfect. Just reach out.
Just do it. Absolutely. I'm so proud that you did. And look at us today.
Right? I think already we've gotten so much good content, and I've tried to naturally squeeze in some of the questions that your followers had. They had some really great questions, some things that, honestly, it's such a privilege to be put in front of someone who's in the top charts, first of all, in one of the busiest states in real estate.
Absolutely.
So California, we're not in, I don't want to say a state. And I don't want to put any state down, but I know that other states compared to California, their real estate, it's not as booming, or we have a lot more agents. So it's a lot more competitive. So it's just different to be top in California versus some other random states.
Yes. And not to put other random states down, because I know just the industry alone is so challenging. It's so easy to quit and give up. That's another question I get all the time. They're like, how do you not think about quitting? Oh my God, I think about it daily.
You do?
No. And the next morning I wake up, I'm like, okay, let's do this. I can't wait to help my clients again. So of course there's challenging days. Of course there's days where you're like, there's so much on my plate and I just want to give up. Why? And you have one tough interaction after another, one canceled escrow after another. That's not an easy pill to swallow, So
question about that. If you weren't making sales so often, and if you weren't as successful, once you had these feelings of quitting, do you think you would have quit?
I'll be honest with you. The reason why I don't quit is because I didn't jump into full-time real estate until I was fully ready to commit to it and had a solid book of business for me to know. Because, real estate, there's a lot of referrals that come with it. And I was confident enough in my skill set, in my client base that I'm good. No matter what happens, I'm good. But the beginning part was so challenging because I sacrificed so much of me. There was no days off, no breaks, because I was full-time manager and full-time real estate, and nobody could know. I made sure that my real estate clients didn't know that they didn't have 100% of me, So that was extremely exhausting on my part, but I did that for a reason. And, my goal was to save up enough to pay off my mortgage, because I knew once I eliminate my biggest expense, then even if real estate is slow, I'm okay. My family is taken care of. I don't have to worry about my mortgage. I don't have to worry about a car payment. I'm good, right? And I'm sure I can find something to feed my family. So, until I did that, I wasn't confident enough to jump into a full commission-only industry, right?
It's hard when you're the only person that's supporting your child. So even though you might internally have known that you would be successful, that you're going to do fine financially, it's still when you have someone else to think about, you want to make sure you're 300% sure, not just 100% sure.
In everything I do in my life, I have to be extra cautious because I have her. She looks up to me. She asks me questions. I have her to respond to and explain.
So she's already asking questions about career?
Oh my God, of course she is. And, at first she wanted to be a doctor because her dad wants her to be a doctor. And now she's like, oh my God, I'm going to be a top realtor. I said, of course you are. Whatever you choose, but of course you're going to be a top realtor.
It's because she wants to be exactly like her mom. So she sees really that not only are you succeeding, but you're happy in your job. Because if a kid sees their parents not happy with whatever they're doing,
not going to want it.
Yeah, they're not going to, no matter how much you try to push them in that direction.
That's right.
Do you take her on your open houses or any trips with you?
I've done a few. So my very special clients have gotten to meet Nelly because I have a very close relationship with them. But of course, a work environment is a work environment, and I try to be as professional as I need to be. But there's a few times where I've taken her with me to showings. There's a few times that she's come to an open house. So she's seen that process. But she also watches the content that I put out, my lives from open houses. So she learns what I'm saying, what I'm doing. She sees my big smile. She sees my energy. So she knows, she knows her mom's really good at her job. And then she knows her mom loves her job. But funny story, I took Nelly to a listing appointment once because, so I share custody. So I try to schedule my work on the days that I don't have Nelly so that I don't have to interrupt my mother-daughter time because it's so important for me.
Oh my God. Okay. First of all, the fact that you're able to do that and be so busy, I need a 5-minute break to get over that.
Yes, absolutely. So this was on a day where she's with me and I can't say anything to a listing appointment. So I got the listing already and I have to give him the lockbox. So I'm meeting with a brand new seller and Nelly's in the car and I say, Nelly, duck down. I don't want him to see you because I don't want him to think I'm not professional.
So funny.
I just have to hand him a lockbox. And I get out of the car to hand him the lockbox. And of course, Nelly has one instruction and she doesn't follow it. And he looks at me. He's like, is that your daughter in the car? I said, oh my God. Nelly, you can come out. Just come out. So she came out. He met her. He's like,
she wanted to watch you work.
She wanted to be a part of it. Yeah. Of course. Nelly is not going to stay in the background. So
she's so cute.
There's been a few
With the few things you've posted, she already has such a big personality. She's so much like you just from what I'm seeing on the few posts.
She's a better version of me, so it scares me. Like when she grows up, I can only imagine how amazing she's going to be because I was super shy when I was young.
No way.
I wasn't this outspoken. I was very quiet. I was very polite. I was well behaved. She's those things, but she's very outspoken. She's opinionated and she's not shy at all.
So there's no boundaries for her.
The sky's the limit.
I love it. She's going to be on her mom's team one day.
I know, for sure.
No matter what she does, I think with people like that, once they see your work ethic and how many things you've done at once, even if she becomes a doctor, she'll do real estate on the side. Just to be with mom.
It's doable. Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you know a lot of people that have like big careers and then real estate on the side?
I actually recommend to a lot of people to start real estate as part-timer, which is the number one thing people told me is you can't succeed in real estate as a part-timer. But the one thing they forgot is if you're not making any money, you're going to quit. You're not going to survive. And with real estate, you don't see paychecks right away. It's going to take some time and effort to get there. So what I teach people is jump into real estate while you have a full-time job somewhere else. This takes care of the money issue and it gives you the opportunity to learn from trial and error, to build your book of business, to become an expert in the field before you quit that job that's giving you the money you need for your home, for your car, whatever it is.
And then if you do that, you have a place where you can always be networking.
Absolutely.
You're always put in front of other people.
100%. I mean, without getting in trouble, not during working hours, but I tell this to people. I say, if you're a part-time realtor, you're meeting clients on a daily basis at your full-time job.
Yeah.
Take advantage of that, and you can't be shy in real estate. I tell my team all the time, I said, shy is not going to work with me. I need you to be confident. I need you to be confident in yourself and believe in yourself first to make your clients believe in you, right?
Yeah.
And I tell them to practice, even in front of a mirror, tell yourself, I'm the best. And then you say it enough times where it hits you like, oh my God, I really am the best.
Morning confirmation.
Absolutely. And then you go in front of your clients and they have no choice but to believe that you're the best.
Yeah. And I think first of all, I love that today people are learning to put themselves first, to start to love themselves, not in a greedy way, but to know that they are worthy of whether it's their career, it's someone else's attention, love, whatever it is, all of it. Not only do I love that, but I love that people now, it doesn't matter how old they're getting, they are lifelong learners. They're continuing their education. They're always going back. So why not go back and learn the real estate industry, especially with the way the market is changing now. Even if you don't sell a house, the only thing that could happen is when you want to sell your own house or buy a place, you'll be well versed
enough to do it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I call it humble bragging, is when you work hard enough to earn certain achievements and accomplishments, you got to talk about it. It's humble, but it's still bragging because you've earned the right to talk about it. So I proudly say I'm a top realtor because I worked my butt off to be a top realtor,
And I feel like in this industry, especially with social media, why should I choose your account versus the other 3,000 agents that are popping up on my feed?
Yes.
You have to show me that what you've done worked.
Absolutely. And how better to convince your audience unless you start believing it yourself.
Yeah. And I think just for your team, saying that they're on your team and saying that they're continuing to learn from you daily and they have your ear so that if something goes wrong, they have someone experienced with proven transactions to help them through the process.
One of my team members the other day, he said, my uncle wants to sell his house, but he doesn't trust me because I'm a new realtor. So I told him, I've partnered with Tereza, and I think if you talk to him, we can make it happen. One conversation later, we made it happen.
That's so funny. I think it's not just because they're new, but also some people, if it's in your family, they still see you as that child.
That's right.
But I think working with family in the beginning of your career could possibly be good because whatever you do, it's trial and error with them. It's not someone else seeing you at your worst.
Absolutely.
Or what could possibly be your worst.
You would think in this industry that family should be your first client base, but unfortunately, what I've noticed is family doesn't trust you right away.
Yeah.
They want you to earn that title. They want you to earn the opportunity to handle their business.
Yeah.
Because again, buying and selling real estate is a very serious transaction. So
it's some people's entire life savings.
Yes, absolutely. So you have to be with someone that knows what they're doing.
For yourself, do you still have a mentor, first of all?
Again, I find mentors in every stage of my life. And
so you're just continuing to learn from everything.
I ask questions all the time.
Is there any formal setting that, like anything that you sign up for, courses or whatever it is to keep learning?
I read a lot. I stay up to date with real estate trends, what's happening with the market. My mentors are all around me. Like I connect with lenders all the time and I find out what's going on because I need to be aware of these programs so I can educate my clients. I have a friend who's a top insurance agent and we brainstorm all the time together and we find out what's happening, what can we do to grow our business. And she's really successful in her business too, but we're always learning and we're always, using each other's brain and saying, what can we do better? What can we do differently? So yeah, I'm blessed to have people around me that are so great at what they do and I pick their brain all the time.
Yeah, taking advantage of your internal network can take you further than you can imagine. And with such a fast-moving industry, I feel like with real estate, I tell a lot of the guests, let's not talk specific numbers because by the time we post in a month or 2 months, things are going to change so dramatically.
100%.
So is there any, maybe one secret tool to adjusting to the market?
Constantly work on educating yourself. You can't expect for information to come to you. You have to go out there and research and you have to put yourself out there and ask questions and learn. I'm constantly working on bettering myself and educating myself.
Is there a few tools that you turn to?
My tools would be, my broker is extremely knowledgeable in latest real estate laws, regulations, policies. So I go to him often and especially if I'm stuck in a transaction where I don't see an exit strategy, he always comes through. Knowing the best people in each industry is the best tip and trick I can advise people. I've got an amazing lawyer I can go to. I've got an amazing insurance agent and so on. So having those people around me is where I feel most fortunate and blessed.
I hear a lot of people saying like they have like softwares or like these websites that they turn to, but when I do the research myself, it's such an overwhelming amount of information. And those people, at the end of the day, they're businesses too. They want to keep you on their website as long as possible. And someone who's just starting off, who has this part-time, they definitely wouldn't have the time to filter through all of that information.
Too much, and it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
But if you noticed, my resources are my people. They're never a software. They're never this article or this website. It's people.
I think that's great advice.
With people,
it sounds
you grow
simple
and evolve and learn from them, and you pick the things that you like. And people have stories, and these stories is what made them who they are. And it's those stories that you're going to learn from. I mean, even back in the days when there was no internet, when there was no TV, when there was no books, what did they do? People gathered around a fire, right? And they told each other stories. And these stories helped others survive. And these stories helped others become better. And it was all based on stories. So I surround myself with people and I learn their stories.
And do you use these stories to sell homes?
Absolutely. 100%. I share my experiences with my clients all the time. I'm a storyteller myself, and I don't mean stories as in lies. I mean stories as in your life journeys. Experiences. I mean, I share with my clients my stories to help them understand why they should hire me. I tell them why I got into real estate. I often share that story, and it helps people connect with me.
So why did you get into real estate?
Why did I get into real estate? I was buying and selling a home, and I knew nothing about real estate at the time. And I met a lot of realtors, and I didn't like a lot of them. I realized that in this industry, there's so many of us. But
where were you looking for realtors? That's also an interesting question.
So in the process of buying, I was going on Zillow, and whatever name was coming up, I would contact them. And I remember one time I met with this one agent who's actually in our office now. He doesn't know the story, but I met with him, and he showed me a house, and he didn't really take me seriously. I didn't have a pre-approval, but I was in the mindset of I need to change my space. I need a new home. I didn't have a pre-approval. He didn't take me seriously. He didn't follow up with me. He didn't send me additional homes. I didn't like that one particular listing, and our interaction ended right there.
Oh no.
And then I met with another agent, and the energy, we clicked.
They did it the right way.
They did it the right way. And I knew right then and there, she's the one I want to work with. And I had no intention of selling my home. And she convinced me it's time to sell. I said, no problem. So I ended up selling my home and buying another. And it was a beautiful experience. But it took me many trials and errors to get to her. Yeah. So what I realized is, even though there's so many of us in this industry, not all of us are great. And because not all of us are great, it's easy to stand out. All you have to do is be great.
I completely see your point in this, because with a lot of these businesses that we look at now today, businesses that we admire, what's the main thing that they share? They're filling a need. So I think you saw a gap in the market, something that you felt like you needed as a consumer. And with that consumer in mind, you were able to meet that demand. So even from the beginning, before you got your license, it sounds like you were thinking of the customer.
Absolutely. And when I have such a strong why, right? Why I got into real estate, because I remember how difficult of a transaction it was for me. It was a very sensitive time for me in my life. And I thought, having someone to trust in this process is so crucial. And I realized I want to be that person people can trust in this process. Not once will my clients say, oh, she was in it for the money. Never. No one can say that about me. I was in it to provide the best experience for them. I was in it to create a stress-free environment. Makes sense?
So you just purchased a house and you've been posting the progress online. And I think a lot of people are asking you about the final result. Will you be sharing that on social media?
Oh my God. I think so, because everyone's been with me on this journey. It's not a pretty phase right now, because you can't see anything pretty. It's like the bones, and I'm spending all this money, but you can't really see it. I mean, I changed the AC and there's just this boxes on my roof. Like, you can't really see what I've done. I've changed the electrical and you can't see how pretty it is. But when the picture comes together and it's beautiful to look at, I'll start posting, because I know everyone's asking me, show us your taste, show us the people you've used. And even in construction, I went through a challenging process of trial and error and picking the best of the best, like finding the best electrician, the best plumber, the best contractor, the best cabinet maker, etc. So now that I'm going through this, I'm going to open this book of business to my followers and my clients and say, I've got the best of everyone.
This is who I trusted for myself.
Yes.
And I think that holds a lot of weight because even for a physician, when they're giving you advice, you say, what would you do with your child? What would you do if this was your own, yourself?
If you use them yourself, that means you trust them enough and it's easier to recommend.
Yeah, exactly. So I think your clients will be very excited to know that soon you're going to have the top of everything in your phone book.
3 to 4 months. We'll see.
Perfect. And I think a lot of people, although they're asking you, oh, can we see? They don't actually want to see the step-to-step every single day.
It's
because on social media, we're used to the
before and immediately after.
Sorry to whoever's listening to this audio and editing. Just murdered their earlobes. Okay, so for people that look on social media, we want to see instantly be gratified with what did it look like before, and in 5 seconds, how did you change the floors?
And right now, I'm going there on a daily basis, and I'm like, but I see minimal progress, but things are happening. So I want to show them the pretty stuff that's aesthetically pleasing to the eye.
And all the smart upgrades, like for example, with the AC, that's not something you're ever going to see.
Never.
That's just something you have to believe in their expertise.
It's part of the process, like 2 weeks for the AC, 2 weeks for the plumbing, 2 weeks for the electrician. It's part of the process, and time is going by, and I still don't see any beautiful house there. So by the time when we get to the finishing touches, then I'll start sharing the journey with my audience.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be beautiful. Just from the outside, the home already looks really, really nice.
You.
So congratulations on that. That's an exciting milestone as well.
It was a big step because I helped my clients feel the experience of what it's like to own your dream home. And it was finally my turn to feel that. So it was a big step.
I love it. I can't wait to see the final results. I'm that person that sometimes I'll go on those hashtags on Instagram, the before after transformations. And then I'm like, Mom, look at this. Look what they could do.
That's what we could do. Yeah, it gives you ideas too.
Yeah, and especially when they post the DIY. I'm like, oh my God, I can't look at those because then I'm going to get it in my head that I can try something and break something in the house.
And you end up doing it and you end up breaking it.
I've actually never attempted any of those. My mom would murder me if I touched her house.
I love it.
So I haven't done that, but I appreciate other people's work.
This fear they've instilled in us, and no matter how old we get, that fear is still there.
If it's my own property, maybe I'll try it and like mess it up and then hire someone to fix it and waste that money and just have a fun DIY time.
But it's moms and we gotta be careful.
Yeah, there's only certain things during COVID when I got really bored that I did some DIY things, but it's things that you would have to be dumb to mess up. So thank God, everything looks great.
I like it.
Okay, so another big question for just when you're buying your own house, have you noticed any big challenges that maybe now you're more it's more relatable to your client's experience?
The big challenge is there's so much emotion involved when you're buying your house. You know, it's no longer a numbers game. Like financially, I knew it was expensive. It was too expensive, but it didn't matter because emotionally I was attached to the home. I knew that the numbers go out the door at that point, and I focus on, does this make sense for my family?
Do it once and do it right.
Yes, and it made sense for my family, so didn't look into the numbers. I said, this is what's right for me. This is what's right for my family. I'm doing it. And it made sense what my clients go through. It's an emotional decision. It's not just, does it have to make sense? Because I wasn't doing it to flip a house. You know, I'm not. That's
your safe space.
Exactly. That's the space.
And that's your daughter's home.
Yeah, that's her backyard. That's her pool. I can't wait. There's so many visions I have and goals with that place. So I can't wait to bring
once it's finally put together. But I also think the process of it is so exciting. And without that, the step-by-step, I bet it's exhausting with everything else that you have going on. You should hire a project manager just for your house.
Just for that. It's funny because I was going through my office remodel, my house remodel.
At the same time.
And I hired a new team and I was training them. And I had all these escrows. I had all these clients to help. And I remember my designer for the office, he goes, I just look at you and I'm like, how do you do it? And I don't even notice what I'm doing until someone pauses me and says, do you know how much you've done?
You're getting used to picking up more and more of the work and getting used to working at 150% and then doing a little bit more.
That's right. So that's been my life.
It's very challenging.
Absolutely. I love it though. I wouldn't trade it for anything else.
Yeah, that's most important. That's how you make it through. I don't think a lot of people could do this. I don't think a lot of people could survive through your schedule that you've had.
No, they wouldn't. And that's okay. I don't blame them. Not everyone is a Tereza, right? Plus, if they did, I wouldn't be top agent at the 24th. There would be so many of us there.
That's one of the reasons why we always say, don't compare yourself to someone else. Don't try to be the next Teresa. Try to be the next whatever your name is.
Absolutely.
And try to beat what you've done in the past. Because Teresa's at this point, I don't know, she's working at 350%. If you're at 12% right now, you're going to fail very badly trying to jump to 350.
That's right.
Just every day, try to be a little bit better. And then just one challenge at a time.
It's interesting because people ask me, how do you do 100 plus sales a year? But I said, wait a minute, before I did 100 plus sales a year, you should ask me what I did on my day one, my first week, my first month, my first year with no money made.
Do you remember the first year, how many transactions you had?
Oh my God, yeah, it was so easy to remember. I did one transaction.
No way.
I got licensed in July of 2017. And by the end of the year, I had sold one home.
Okay, but in 4 years, first year 1, fourth year 100, that's still a huge jump.
Absolutely. But see, people want to know how I got to the 100. They don't want to know how I got that one. And that's
they want that miracle pill.
Yes. And they're wrong about it all because had they been with me on this journey since day one and they observed my behavior and they watched me grow and the things I did differently as I grew, then they would know the secret to success, right?
And there is no secret.
There's no secret.
There's no secret formula, or else everyone would be doing it.
Work hard.
We would all be Tereza.
That's right. No, there's no secret. Be yourself. Work hard. You can't be lazy and expect for things to happen. I never expected anyone to give me a shortcut in life.
Yeah.
I knew that no matter what I wanted, I have to work my butt off to get there. And I did.
What's been your favorite part of real estate the past 4 years?
Oh, it has to be the people I meet, and it has to be the moment where I tell them we're opening escrow.
Okay.
Even to this day, there's moments where I cry with my clients because they cry, and I'm a softie. I'm a very emotional person. So when I hear them cry, I'm like, okay, this is my turn. And I start crying with them, and they don't believe it. They're like, you've sold all these homes and you're still crying. I'm like, yes, because
but I haven't sold a home to you.
And this is so special. This is our experience together. And it's so genuine. You know, I can't just cry like this. It's genuine. It comes from within and they love it. But it has to be the moments where I tell them, we just opened escrow, and then the moment where I hand them the keys, because that's a life-changing experience in itself. Yeah,
I bet the amount of connections that you've made. Yes. I think we've only been filming the podcast for a little while now, and just some of the people that I'm meeting, I just think about, oh my God, how impressive they are. In the short amount of time, so many people that have done so much, that all these connections I'm making now, I'm like, you know what? I'm so impressed by them. I love them so much. Next time someone asks for an agent, a loan,
you know who to go to.
I will refer to them, not even because of their work ethic, because that obviously is impressive, but I'm sure there's a bunch of people that work really hard. But once you build that connection with someone and you really get to know them and know they care, that's it. That's all it takes. Now you've made an imprint in their mind, or else there's a ton of people out there that work really hard, a ton of people that are super competitive, but who are we going to choose from all of these people?
Exactly. The ones you connected with the most. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I'll give you an example. I was sharing with my team that I was having a team meeting and my phone buzzes, and the person that helped me paint my office and build that wall, we built a fake wall. It's beautiful. It's like an accent wall.
I love it. It looks like a studio wall.
Yes, it's so cool. And that person, you know, he was there to do a task, and all I could do, I could have gone about it two ways. I could have paid him for the task and our interaction could have ended there, but I got to know him. I found out that he loves fishing. I found out that his wife is in charge of the finances because I would pay the wife on Zelle payments. I found out, you know, how hard he works, how honest he is, what a good person he is. And he found out who I am and that I'm a realtor. So as I was doing this meeting with my team, my phone buzzes and it's him. And he says, Teresa, I referred you to my friends. They're looking to rent out their home. I said, oh my God, I'd love to. Thank you for thinking of me. And I told them, I said, here's an example. That interaction could have been boss-employee type of relationship. Thank you for your job. Here's your check. Have a wonderful day. Or it could have been something more, which is what we built together. And since then, I've referred him to so many of my clients because he's truly an honest and great, hardworking man. And I thought to myself, those are the connections that you build. Those are the moments that matter, because anyone else would have never connected with them to a point where they think, oh my God,
people don't care. Some people don't care.
Thank you.
And with some people will shock you so much. There's such incredible people. I know someone who started off as a banker here, and she's also a single mom taking care of her child. And if no one asks, they wouldn't know. Back in Armenia, she was a doctor.
Oh, wow.
She was the head of a surgical department.
Wow.
She came here and she wasn't able to fully translate her degree and go through the residency just because she has a child to take care of. So it's not even that she doesn't have the degree. She has the medical license here,
wow.
but to be able to use it, she needs to do a residency in another state. And she's not going to be able to move to another state with her child. So there's all of this where now it's like, not only do you still have that opportunity here, and if you just have your child suffer a couple of years through the residency, you guys will live really well, but she doesn't care.
Yeah.
The child is first. And that just left such a big imprint on me. And then now she's getting her, she actually just got her realtor license.
Woohoo!
So I was like, oh my God, like just because I know your story, just because I took the time to learn more about you, as long as I feel like she's very well versed. She's very smart. She dedicates herself to everything. I'm like, next person who says I want to buy a house, I'm going to be like, Kalas, yeah.
Absolutely. And see those impactful moments, those connections you build, those go a long way.
Yeah. And just hearing her story, if I just tell her story to someone who's very young, someone who grew up in America and has certain privileges that she didn't, I feel like that's just a boost of encouragement that if this person had an underprivileged life in another country and was still able to not only succeed, but then completely transform her life and start from zero again, then I can do so much more with my parents backing me.
100%. You're right.
Yeah, I love listening to the stories. Okay, so now let's go to the dark side.
Tell me.
We talked about the bright stuff. What's the worst part about real estate?
The worst part is probably those failed transactions, and it's easy to say, oh, when an escrow cancels, it's the realtor's fault, because I hold myself to higher standards and I always want to do my best to keep a deal together. But there's times where they just don't stay together, whether it be, the property didn't appraise at value or the inspection didn't go through. I had a canceled escrow recently and the agent sent me a nasty text message, which was so unnecessary because I'm a listing agent myself, so I've seen both sides, and it sucks when the buyer's agent reaches out and says, I'm sorry, the buyers have to cancel. But what you need to understand, it's a team effort to keep the deal together. You have to work together. And then tomorrow you may come back to me because of a listing of mine and you may be interested. So you don't want to burn that bridge. And he sent this nasty text. He said, well, you promised me this, and I wish I never opened escrow with you.
Are we 5 years old now?
Yeah.
I wish you weren't my friend.
Yes. I thought that was so unnecessary because I did everything I could to keep the deal together, but I'm not going to convince a client if they feel uncomfortable after an inspection report, after a short appraisal, etc. I sometimes encourage the client and say, this is not a good buy. Like you're going to spend a lot of money.
You're looking out for their best interest, not someone else's pocket.
It's not a one-time transaction for me and my clients. This is a long-term relationship. So I'm always about, I don't care if I'm going to make money here. I care if that client is going to be satisfied and if it's the right thing for them. So he sent me that nasty text message and I was like, I can be petty. I can respond to it or I can simply let it go. And I let it go. I was the bigger person. He probably caught me on a good day because normally I could be petty. I could respond.
That's so funny. I can't imagine. Next time you're petty, you need to share it because I can't imagine.
See it. I promise sometimes I have those days, but I let it go. And in a professional way, I apologized and I said, I do look forward to an opportunity to be able to work together because that was my intention. And unfortunately, due to the following reasons, the clients didn't like it. He was so shocked that it was a cancellation that he even questioned. He said, did you even take the clients to see the house?
Oh my goodness.
And mind you, with Super Activity, Super is the lockbox we use, it tracks everyone's names and information. I said, you have my name there twice. One time when I showed you the house. I didn't just come for fun. Twice, second time, and I'm not a rookie agent too. I don't do blind offers because no one takes those seriously. And I don't lie. I wasn't going to tell him the client saw and loved it when they really didn't see it.
But also, it just confuses me. Okay, I've already told you it's not working. You being mean to me is not going to change my mind.
Not at all. And it's just burning that bridge because you don't want that moving forward.
He's just throwing a tantrum.
Like me who has 16 active listings and one day you're going to want to buy one of those listings. You know what I mean? So I wasn't petty. I apologize. I said, I did take them twice. Please feel free to check the Super Activity. My name is on there. Unfortunately, after
do your job well, sir.
Thank you.
Worry about yourself.
Thank you. I wish I had you next to me. You'd text on my behalf.
Oh my goodness. You could send a video message of me saying it now. Remember February 21st, 2020? Well, this is exactly what she should have said. And you need to learn from that. Because is he going to continue doing this with other agents? That's a growing opportunity for him to learn from his mistakes.
Absolutely. You're right.
Okay, this industry is all client-based. I just don't understand how some people can Okay, first of all, who brings the clients? Especially when you're a listing agent, they don't just walk in without an agent. Typically, they hire a real estate agent.
Absolutely.
And then now look past that. This real estate agent, how many doors can she open for you?
Absolutely. And then
instead of using that to connect with you and say, oh, okay, I get it. It happens. What can we do? Can we work together? Do you have another client?
Absolutely. And I've done that so many times. Like there's buyer's agents that have canceled escrow on me. And I first asked, what can I do? Is it a loan issue? Let me introduce them to my lender. Is there something we can do together to save the deal? And if the answer is no, not a problem. Let's work together on another deal. And that's, people love me for the relationships I build with them. There's so many agents that know my reputation. I'm not known for canceling escrows, although they do happen every now and then. I'm known for how transparent I am, how honest I am, how knowledgeable I am, and what a great negotiator I am.
Comes back to your own brand.
Absolutely.
You are your own brand.
100%.
Make it all personal.
That's right. And after this recording, I will share his name with you, so you stay away from this agent. Please,
I have a blacklist. I will write it down.
Agents to stay away from. It's a short list, but there's a few names there that don't ever work with this person. So don't ever work with.
I mean, that comes with the boundaries with being honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are just some people that they're in the wrong career. Like, sorry, dude, like go into car sales.
Love it.
Okay. This brought up a question.
Tell me.
If you yourself could go back, is there anything you would change? It doesn't have to be about being rude to a customer, literally, or another agent. It could be literally anything that you wish you could change, or maybe a tool that you wish you had.
I think the main thing I would change, I wish I got into this industry sooner, because I think...
I hear a lot of people saying that.
I wish. But I've always been the type to be extremely safe in my choices. You know, I was at Wells Fargo chasing that manager title, and that was so important for me to become a manager. And I did that. And then I did it for several years. But I was never the one to say, you know what, I'm ready to fully commit to a commission-based industry where you're fully responsible for your success. I've never been that person to make that.
It's literally like opening your own business.
Oh my God. Yes, I am my own business owner. And you know what I realized? When I don't have 50 plus people that are in charge of making my branch stand out and making my branch successful and making me successful, and I'm only responsible for me, really, that's when the sky's the limit. That's when I can do anything. You know, that's when I can become a top realtor.
No one's dragging you down with them.
Dragging me down. Absolutely.
It's all your own work pushing you forward and showing.
I can't blame anyone either. If something doesn't go wrong, I can't point fingers. It's all me, you know? So.
I love it. Your work has shown.
Yeah. And you know, one thing that I would do differently is really starting early. That would have been ideal. Another thing I would have done differently, you know, I went through different brokerages to kind of figure out my place and where I belong.
So you weren't always with Coldwell?
No, I wasn't. I started with John Hart, and then I transitioned to Keller Williams, and then John Hart, Coldwell, and then Keller, and then back to Coldwell.
Oh my God. I bet all of these other brokerages that you were a part of are now looking at Tereza saying, oh no, what can we do to get her back?
They do. They still do. I get a lot of calls, people trying to recruit me, but I'm really comfortable where I am. It's truly a family setting for me now. It's such a warm environment, and I'm not in it just for like, how much can you offer me? What can you do for me? I'm in it for how pleasant of an experience is it for me to go to work, to interact with the people that I'm surrounded by. I've got an amazing broker. I've got an amazing manager, and they're there for me. So I go for that.
Yeah. And you never know, like with times changing, with your own career just growing, who knows what's going to happen in the future? You might join something else or make your own place.
Absolutely. Oh, I get that question all the time. Why aren't you opening up your own place? No, thank you.
Not yet? Or no, thank you at all?
No, thank you at all. I think I'm in a good place where I'm at, because people don't understand. Opening your own brokerage comes with so much responsibility. You are responsible A to Z. You're every lawsuit, you're responsible.
Okay, it sounds like you can deal with all of that responsibility, I have to say.
I can. But, you know, when they say when something's not broken, why fix it? The system I have in place is totally working for me. I'm not chasing the title of broker and being my own boss. I'm really chasing a comfortable space for me to be able to help my clients the best way I know how. And I feel like if I add more responsibilities, it's going to take away from the thing I love to do most, which is interact with my clients, right?
Definitely. Yeah. There would be a lot more office work rather than client face to face.
That's taken away from what I love to do. Why would I do that? Because of a title?
Hey, you can always just do more masterclasses, be face to face with other realtors.
That I love. That's a goal.
How do you come up with things to say during a masterclass?
It's so natural and organic because they're all examples from my life.
Okay.
You know, I didn't steal another realtor's journey and share with them. First of all, there's some basics that's very easy to teach because it's just like, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do that. But then when you add your stories and it's all real examples.
It makes it memorable.
It makes it memorable, but it also, people can relate and people trust you because you did this. It worked for you. Like my stories had client names. They had dates attached to it. They had cities. They had facts that you can't question that. You know what I mean? So it was so easy for me to come up. I remember when I set the date for the masterclass, my mom's like, Tereza, you have to prepare. There's all these people that signed up. You have to make sure you're fully prepared. I'm like, Mom, I got this. It's just me sharing exactly what I went through.
Number one class and you were feeling so at ease.
Absolutely.
How did you target the people? I know you said at first it was going to be less people, but was it just through Instagram ads or did you know exactly who to reach out to?
No, I didn't reach out. They reached out to me. And there was a few people that weren't even local and we did Zoom for them so they could see it. Out of state people were watching it too. So it was such an honor to be able to be in such demand.
Okay, first of all, to translate your success in California to a state where the laws might be different.
Yes.
Was that kind of scary? Did you have to Google up their regulations?
No, because it wasn't so many regulations. It was more like, here are things you need to do to succeed in this industry. And the successful realtors aren't about regulations. It's really about what made you stand out from the competition? How did you do it? How did you survive the COVID market? How did you survive the high interest rate market, etc.? So I didn't target them. They came to me and they said, help us, give us guidance. And when I reached out and I said, well, here's the date, here's the cost, here's the space, and people started signing up. So the demand was
literally almost no marketing for that.
No marketing. And
do you market your work as a real estate agent?
Minimal. I'm a big believer in working hard for every lead that I earn. I have never spent $1 in Zillow ads.
Wow.
90%.
How about social media? Do you spend money to boost your posts?
Again, minimal because I don't, my marketing team does whatever they see fit, and I trust them completely. But me, myself, not really because I believe in organically growing your
So
audience.
you don't even plan your posts, like what you're going to post during the day about your experiences? Oh my goodness. So everything is on the spot.
On the stories they've given me on my posts, they've restricted me. They said, because we want everything to match together. It's an aesthetic. Yes. They've taken over. They've taken over February. So it's very recent that I've hired a marketing team, but the stories I have full freedom and control over what I want to do with my stories.
And do you get a lot of people, home buyers contacting you through social media?
I do get leads through social media. They're not all quality leads. I get a lot of people asking questions and I make sure that I make myself available to answer the questions. Yes. Yeah. But you see, that person that asked the question a year ago is going to be my client maybe a year from now, eventually. I'll give a funny story. I posted, oh my God, you will love this. So I posted on social media about a cell phone that a client of mine left in the bus. And I was a manager at Apple Store and I was a realtor at the same time. He left his cell phone. He comes to the Apple Store. He's looking for the only Armenian speaker he could find. He comes to me and I use my phone, my personal phone, to reach out to his number and say, please, I'll pay you money. If you find this phone, bring it to us. He was an older man and I felt so bad. And I got his personal address. And then 2 days later, someone reaches out to me and says, we found his phone on a bus. You can come pick it up from our address. I went and I picked up the phone. And this is me, full-time mom, full-time realtor, full-time Apple manager.
And you're doing this for Apple.
Finding a phone that someone picked up at a bus to take it to this grandpa. And I picked up the phone and I go to his house and he's not home. So I'm freaking out because I can't call him. The only thing I had was his personal address. I tied it in a bag. I hung it on his door. I left a nice note for him. He called me the next day. He was so thankful. He said,
so sweet.
I bought a temporary phone, but I'm so glad I got my phone back. And I posted this story. I shared this journey on social media. A gentleman calls me. At first he messages, he says, oh my God, that was such a cool story. I'm so glad you shared it with me. A gentleman calls me 2 months later and says, I'd like to sell my house. I go meet with him and he said, I interviewed many agents and the reason why I wanted to hire you is because of that cell phone story you posted 2 months ago. I said, oh my God, it was so worth making the drive.
So everything you do eventually comes back to you.
100%.
That's an
100%.
amazing story.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's so much more with that, with just you being your authentic self and
Yes.
catching someone's attention.
Yes.
And then you're more memorable.
Yes, for sure. But I am an oversharer in life. Like anything good that happens, I like to share. Anything funny that happens, I like to share with my audience. And the purpose of me posting the phone wasn't to get a listing, because no one would think by posting a phone, someone's going to want to sell their house.
That's not the reason you're posting
Not at all. It was such a fun story. I wanted them to see it to the end to find out, did the grandpa call me? Everyone was asking, did he finally get his phone? And look at what it turned out to be.
That's a beautiful story.
Thank
you. It sounds like with everything that you're saying, money is never on your mind. Whether it's at Apple, I'm sure they did not pay you overtime to find this grandpa's phone.
They didn't.
And even with real estate, it's not money. No. So how do you track your own success? How do you measure your success?
When someone reaches out to me and says, I checked on this website, you're the 24th agent in all of California. Other people usually knock on my door and say, you're at this level now. When my company gave me that award, I knew I was going to get an award. I had no idea I was going to get the award that said the best agent of the company, #1 agent of Coldwell Banker Hallmark Realty. That was such a wow moment. It's the feedback. When you're so busy doing what you love, you don't have time to track. You really don't. So if it wasn't for these awards and these people reaching out to me and telling me, I wouldn't know,
Yeah, you're too busy to care, honestly. That's what it comes down to. You're too busy to care because you're enjoying yourself.
Absolutely.
And for someone that's obsessed with checking the numbers every single day, that's a lot of time that could be committed to working on yourself.
Yes, 100%. Like me hitting refresh to see where I'm at now, how many have sold, isn't going to get me to the next level. Absolutely.
And obviously, even though we say money's not important, it's still, it comes with it. So how do you talk pricing with clients? When do you bring that up?
One thing I teach my clients, everything in real estate is negotiable, and if they call and they say, how much does it cost to work with you? I say, well, let's meet first. I want to introduce myself. Let me show you who I am and what I'm about, because I'm not just about that price. I'm about, here's my what I've done here.
I might say no to you.
Yeah. There's a chance I may not be able to pick up your business, but first thing is to have an introduction. The good thing about my clients, and I think I'm blessed in that field, is a lot of them already come to me knowing who I am, knowing what I've done, knowing my statistics. So it's such an easy conversation.
So it's a lot of referrals as well. So they kind of have already asked about your price. They know what to expect.
My uncle said you sold their house. You were the best. I have no questions. Let's do it. I'm like, okay, done. Let's do it.
That's so sweet. Wow. No wonder you're always so happy. You're always, people are always recognizing who you are as a person, not just as who you are in your career.
See, what I did early on in my career, I had to make sure that everybody knows I'm a realtor. That was a must, no matter where I am.
How did you do that?
I would go to a restaurant. My client called me the other day and he reminded me of this. He said, you've come such a long way. I said, what do you mean? He said, we were having lunch. He's a friend / client. He came to visit me at Apple and we were having lunch together and we were catching up on life. And I told him I'm now a realtor and I always carried my business cards with me. And while we were having lunch, I turned around to the clients behind me and I said, by the way, I'm a local realtor. Here's my business card. If you ever think of buying or selling, call me. And then I turned around to the table next to me and I said the same thing. And he's just staring and he's completely embarrassed by me. He's like, oh my God. She's like, what is she doing? We're supposed to have lunch and talk about life. And here she is working, And I did that every chance I got. I wanted to make sure.
Question about that. So do you just turn over, give it, and then just ignore them the rest of the time? Or do you try to make a personal connection?
Well, I introduced myself. I told them who I am, why I'm great. I mean, I'm new in the industry, so there isn't much to share yet.
So what did you say? Why were you great in the beginning?
Well, I said, I'm a local realtor. I'm an expert in the neighborhood. I'd love to be able to help you out with buying or selling.
So highlight your expertise.
Highlight your expertise, that you're local here and this is your neighborhood. And I made sure that people around me knew my name and knew that I'm a realtor. And
Love
then
it.
in time,
that's basically marketing.
Yeah, that's it. Free marketing right there. And then they say, did you pay for leads? You don't have to when you use yourself.
It's brand awareness locally.
Absolutely. And when he called me, he said, you were that girl who would go to a restaurant and look at the table on the right and the table on the left and pass out business cards. He's like, and look at you now. You don't need an introduction because everybody
clearly you
already
did something
knows.
right.
But had I not done that, I wouldn't have been
Do you still do that? No?
Because they know me. It's funny because now when someone says, do you have your business card? I'm like, you don't know who I am.
Oh my goodness.
It's like,
scan this QR code and follow me on social media.
Exactly, thank you. But why would you want my business card? You don't know who I am. But most of them know me, and it's such an honor that they know me. You know?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Even before this podcast, I had seen you on social media. And then I wasn't the person that would look at who was selling a house before. But ever since I've been doing this podcast and more into the business, now I'll see your face. I'm like, hey, look, it's Tereza on the yard sign.
And then it's her again, and then it's her again. I know.
Exactly. And now I look out for it. So, and I'm sure people that are prepared to buy the house already, they pay attention to these things.
100%.
So if they see Tereza's face all over Glendale, if they want a house in Glendale, who are they going to call?
Tereza.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're right. That facial recognition is so important. I did this challenge once with my followers, and I said, if you find my sign anywhere posted, I said, I think I had like 12 signs at the 12 listings at the time. And it was so cute that my followers were literally looking for my listings and taking a picture of my sign and sending it to me. But brand awareness, you know, my face.
And then from then on, even if they weren't paying attention before, they will now look at the faces
100%,
on the signs.
100%.
Do you think you'll ever get licensed in another state?
That's a question that's come up to me as well, because I have clients that are moving out of state. I have clients going to Arizona, to Texas, and they're like, will you help us there? I'm like, I'm only licensed in California, but I can refer you to someone. I'm so good with my business here. I mean, you've heard my plate. It's overflowing, right? So I'm really in a good place.
I normally wouldn't ask anyone else this busy, but you do not cease to amaze me.
So
I wouldn't be surprised if you had answered, I'm licensed in all 50 states.
You're so cute. It's something I've thought about. It's just because I'm in a really good place with my business and it's constantly growing. I haven't had the need to do that.
Okay. You know? So how do you make these connections or these referrals to send your clients out of state?
You know, they say greatness attracts greatness. You know, it's so funny because I reach out to realtors. That you can even go to realtor.com and search by city or state and find realtors. And then you can see sort of how many transactions they've done. And then you can read the reviews and kind of get feedback there. But I remember one time I had to refer a listing to an agent in Arizona. And I called and I went to realtors.com and I searched for Arizona agents, and a lot of names came up, and most of the busy ones, I started calling them one by one. 90% of them didn't answer their call. The one that did, I gave him the listing and he was so happy and he did fantastic. And I said, just so you know the reason why. And I asked him questions, of course, to make sure he's knowledgeable. It's his neighborhood, etc. I didn't just give it to a random person, but I said, just so you know, out of 30 plus calls I made, you were the first one to answer your phone. I said, so it pays to answer your phone.
Yeah, make yourself available. I've heard a lot of guests say that it doesn't matter what time it is, they'll make themselves available for their clients and possible business to come out of that.
100%. Why do you think I removed those Yelp hours that I didn't agree with? You know?
That's so funny to me. 24/7 open.
24/7, that's it.
So what's the latest that you've picked up a call? It's an interesting question.
It really depends. So texting, I think, is more comfortable than picking up calls because my daughter may be asleep next to me, but I'm working. So I would text at a later time. But I'm not going to be the one initiating it. If the client is the one initiating it, it's a different story. With clients, if I'm initiating, I usually stop at 10 o'clock. Okay. That's the last. But if the client is initiating it, I'm available 100%. I'm there to answer their questions.
And have you noticed that a lot of your returning clients make up more of your business, or is it new clients?
It's a lot of returning clients. And what I love about them is, one, their loyalty, but it's a compliment to me because if I messed up along the way, there's no way they would come back to me.
They're not coming back with such a big transaction.
100%. And I have a few gems, and we've done so many transactions together where I've lost track already. But it's a big compliment to me.
So how do you keep track of these clients? Are you the one that's constantly reaching out to them, or do they just come back whenever they're ready?
They come back when they're ready. But remember, I said I've turned it into friendships. So it's regular, normal conversations like, oh, which school is your daughter going to, or how's the dog, or tell me about the nail salon that you went to last time. It's so many personal connections and conversations where it's not like a scheduled, Mondays is my follow-up day. No. It's me conversing with my friends and family.
Oh, that also takes a lot of energy though. Yeah. Just for me, I actually don't follow too many people that I don't know personally on social media, but it gets a little bit exhausting. Like I see that your kid started a new school, but to reach out to every new person, that takes a lot of commitment as well.
It does.
I bet that takes a lot of focus. Do you set aside time for that, or does it just happen naturally through the day?
Everything about my day-to-day is natural and organic. I don't have a set schedule because I'm also a mom, right? And I have to fit my daughter's schedule into my work life. And I'm blessed to be self-employed and be my own boss, to to make my own schedule. So 1:00 is when I drop off my daughter. And my clients, a lot of them may not know this, which they might find out right now. But when they reach out around 1:00, it's the worst time to catch me because, I'm cleaning up the backpack, fixing her hair, run out of the door. We got to make it on time.
Her school starts at 1:00?
Yeah, she's second shift. It's a private school. It starts at 1:00. And that's like a blocked period from 12:30 to 1:30. It's like a blocked protected
mom
period. Mom mode. And when clients reach out at that time, it's like the worst time. So I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm with another client. I'll call you back. Yeah. But my client is my daughter, right?
Hey, she is a client.
She is a client. She's
she takes up the most time.
And,
and she's going to be your biggest investment in the future.
100%. And building my schedule around my needs. So there's no way I can commit to, this day from this time. No, because my daughter has homework. My daughter needs to eat. My daughter needs to get ready for school.
It's so incredible. Like moms never cease to amaze me. The amount of things that you could juggle at the same time. I saw this one photo, actually the Pocket Network posted for Mother's Day. This mom that has like 10 hands.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm not a mom, but I've seen my mom do it. I've seen my cousin, my sister, all of them do it. And sometimes it's incredible. When I think about it, I'm like, oh my God, like, do you build up to that? Or the second this baby is born, now you're a superhero?
Honey, you build up to that. I still don't feel like a superhero. I still feel like I make lots of mistakes. You build up to it. It comes with the territory because it's such a big responsibility. You're responsible for this human staying alive. Okay.
Yeah, literally.
and surviving on a daily basis.
Don't forget to feed and water it.
Exactly. So it comes with the territory, but you learn as you go and you make mistakes, but that's okay because no matter how many mistakes you make, you're still the best mom for your child. You really are. So no one can question that.
And I've said this to other people before that are really, really committed to their job. It's almost like your job is your baby because as difficult as a baby is, you're so committed and they make you so happy and you love it so much. You don't care about the stress. The way you speak, I see that you feel the same way towards your job.
100%.
I think we need to highlight moms so much more for young people. Like I can say personally, when I was younger, there was a lot of people that told me you either pick a career or you pick a family. Yeah. So I've always said, okay, then I pick my career. I pick myself. I'm never going to have a family. And obviously the older you get, you see inspirational women like yourself. And then you see that it's possible.
Have both. Yes. And you can be
successful at both. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think what's really important is not to lose focus of what's most important. And, because my clients know I have a family, because they know how much of a priority my family is to me, there's no questions asked,
That's a part of your brand.
That's part of my brand. I'm a mom. Everybody knows it and I'm proud of it. Everybody knows Nelly. They ask questions about her. It's adorable. I love it.
I know. She's so cute. I would ask questions about her too. I saw that one video that you posted where she's doing a selfie video of her outfit of the day. Yes. I was like, oh my God, she's a mini influencer already.
She knows. She's like, look at my shoes, look at my skirt. And then her skirt was a bit shorter. So she's like pulling it down. I'm like, I've taught her so well. She knows what she's doing.
So cute. And you post a lot of the rest of your family as well. Conversations with your mom, your sister, your sister's dog. Yes. So you're still so involved in your family's life. It's really, really a wonder. On your time management skills are unmatchable.
Well, in order for me to be as involved in their life, I made them a part of my team. My mom's licensed, my sister's licensed. Absolutely. I got so busy in my career where I thought there's no way I can handle all of this by myself. So the first person I went to, I said, Mom, I got to get you licensed. So I got her licensed. And she started helping me. And then I said, sister, it's not enough. I need your help. I got to get you licensed. And then she got licensed.
This is literally family business.
It's family business. Absolutely. And now that we're also working together, it keeps us closer. I mean, the bond is there. Of course, we have our moments. Like my sister laughs about it. She's like, she fires me 5 times a day and then rehires me back. And it's all great.
You can't fire your sister.
You can actually. You absolutely can. But then it's blood, so you have to take her back. It's
a temporary timeout.
Exactly. But it's brought us closer too, and it allows us to spend so much time together. And they know everything about my business, so we speak the same language. Like my mom knows every escrow I've been in, every difficult transaction, every good transaction, etc. And
I feel like we need a reality show with Can't Keep Up with the Toramanyans. Is that their last name too?
Yeah, that's it.
I love it. I feel like that would be so interesting. Mom feeding you in the driveway.
The bread on the way to a podcast. I'm like, Mom, I'm running running late. She's like, but it's warm Armenian bread. You have to have some. Of course I had to have some. It's funny you mentioned reality shows. So a network reached out to me and said they want to film me talking about real estate. I'm so excited because I'm going to be talking about Glendale because I'm in Glendale. I love Glendale, and I'm going to highlight all the good things about Glendale. So I feel like it's an Armenian proud moment for me because I get to talk about all the good things that Armenians also have done for the
Armenians
community.
have left such a big footprint in Glendale.
Yes.
I know this one person, he's been in Glendale. He's over, I want to say he's over 80 now. So he's been in Glendale ever since literally the day he was born. And then he told me, he's like, I started seeing the Armenians coming in. They weren't just always around in Glendale. So he said that him and his family had noticed as soon as the Armenians started coming in, different types of businesses opened up. They got different types of food.
The neighborhood cleaned up.
Exactly. They started seeing development in the neighborhood.
That's right.
They started seeing things getting more pricey. So that could be a good or a bad thing. And he always says, he's like, so he's like, with Armenians, he's like, it's not just their personality and their homes that are extra. They do whatever they touch, they do the same too. So people are noticing that. And then even like celebrities, like I think it was Joe Rogan or someone big name like that. All of these people that have their Armenian friends, they'll make a story out of it. Yeah, like they feed me or they can outdrink me, whatever it is. These are such fun people who try to take care of the people around them. And I'm seeing that in yourself too. So it's definitely just like a salute to your culture, to the background.
And I'm so proud of being Armenian because having that last name and carrying it with so much pride and being on lists and reports and recognition lists where, no Armenian has been to before, it's such a big deal for me. It's like double the excitement because I'm also representing my community in such a big way. Yeah,
especially with the background, with the history of the Armenian culture. It's just a bunch of people who get past all of these challenges, who can do a million things at once, who thrive. It's right. All of those quotes about being the seed that just grows. That's exactly what we see. And the fact that other people are recognizing it too. It's not just in business. It's that pride in our culture. When people notice, oh, you're Armenian? That they're all of a sudden interested because they've had such a great experience with an Armenian person in the past.
Absolutely. And most of it has to do with the food, right? And how we feed everyone when they come to our house.
Which is so funny because Armenians have a lot of foods that are not our own. We've just made someone else's cultural food even better.
Well, it's a big argument. When you bring up the Dolma story, they're like, oh, that's ours. But if you argue, it's really
we've made it better, so it's ours.
We've made it, everything we've touched, we've made it better, so it's ours. That's it.
I love it. And I'm seeing you doing that with yourself, even though it might not be your name that's on the firm or the walls, whatever it is. Your name is on the walls in your office, but you're putting your touch. It is you. Absolutely. So when someone works in your team, they don't say probably, oh, I will work for Coldwell. I work with Tereza.
Absolutely. You nailed it.
I love it. I feel like we had so many good points.
Yes, we did.
So we need another big seminar by you. You can host a webinar on the Pocket Network anytime.
I love it.
You could do it online so that everyone from all the states join. And if you need, we have so many great people that we've met through the podcast as well. We could do all the research for you in all the different states, anything different that you need to point out, but we need to see more of Tereza. We need to see, and also you speak Spanish. That does not cease to
Spanish, Russian, Armenian. I got it all.
Bilingual, multicultural. I love it. Everything. Tereza can do it all. So whether you want to buy a house in Glendale or maybe one day in Spain, she'll be able to sell it to you.
No, I'm international. I like it.
I love it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on to the podcast. And for anyone, Tereza is very active on social media. So make sure you follow her. We'll link everything down below in the descriptions. So, and make sure you follow the Pocket Network as well. We have so much great content out for you. We'll be posting everything with Tereza, snippets for you to watch. Share it with people, share it with your team. And as always, like we always say, change begins at home. So make the change today.